DeAndre Hopkins was not the only wide receiver that was traded this week. We also had the Vikings trading away disgruntled wide receiver Stefon Diggs. The Vikings ended up sending Diggs and their 7th-round pick to the Buffalo Bills for their 1st-round pick, which was pick 22, their 5th-round pick, 168, their 6th-round pick this year, and then a 2020 4th-round pick. Now, if we contrast this to what Houston got in return for DeAndre Hopkins, the Texans only got the 40th overall pick. So, Diggs is a good wide receiver, don't get me wrong. But the Vikings were able to get the 22nd pick, whereas the Texans got the 40th pick and a potentially washed up, broken down running back. So that's 18 pick difference for Stefon Diggs, plus those 3 day 3 picks. Now, Diggs wanted out. For whatever reason, he was not happy with the Vikings, even though the Vikings were a playoff team the last couple of years, were very close to making the Super Bowl 2 years ago, won a playoff game last year. He did not like it there. It didn't seem like him and Kirk Cousins were on the same page, let alone like Kirk Cousins. Maybe he didn't feel like the franchise put him in the best place. Maybe he just didn't feel like he was the true number one that he wanted to be. He had made it clear for the whole entire season that he wanted out. And so he finally gets out. And he gets to go to the Buffalo Bills. And this is great for the Buffalo Bills because they need a true number one receiver. They don't have that. Last year they brought in Josh Allen. And what do they do for year 2? They bring in a speed receiver in John Brown. They bring in Cole Beasley, who's more of the slot intermediate to this. And those guys help. They were a big addition over Zay Jones and Robert Foster, who had been with Josh Allen his rookie year. So now you bring Stefon Diggs into that. Diggs is their true number one, a go-to guy, a guy that could win deep, a guy that can win in short and intermediate. They've got him. John Brown now doesn't have to be that top guy. He can slide into that complementary role and be that deep threat with Cole Beasley doing the underneath. So those guys still kind of get to do what they want or what they excel at, but now you have Diggs to be that playmaker. And I think this is huge for Josh Allen because he can win deep with Stefon Diggs. Now, if those guys are both going deep, where's the safety going to lean? It gives them options there. So love this pick for the Bills. They had the 22nd overall pick. They were looking at potentially taking a receiver. Would it have been a T. Higgins, a Denzel Mims, potentially a Jerry Jeudy? Those type of guys are good potential prospects, but right now, Stefon Diggs is a much better player. So that was a slam dunk pick for move for the Bills. They need to surround Josh Allen with weapons. Now the Vikings, I like this move for them too because it was clear Stefon Diggs wasn't working out. Yes, you would want to keep him. You got him and Adam Thielen, 2 tremendous wide receivers. Diggs is probably the better of the 2, but he wasn't happy. And you don't want a presence in your locker room, a guy that at his magnitude that's not happy. That's just going to drag the team down. So they had to move on from him. And to get a first-round pick, considering the Houston Texans did not, was quite tremendous. Now they got that pick 22. They still need a receiver now. It's not like, hey, Stefon Diggs is gone, we're good at receiver. They only really had those 2 type of guys. So they're in the market now. So could they use that 22nd overall pick? Chances are they don't need to, so they could slide that need down into the 2nd round where they can take advantage of this deep wide receiver class. Here at 22 and their addition, their other first round pick in the 20s, they can look to rebuild this roster. They need an offensive tackle. So an Ezra Cleveland, a Josh Jones, are those Austin Jackson. They could get one of those 3 offensive tackles, solidify this offensive line. This is a run-first team. They could go after and get another cornerback, a C.J. Henderson, a Trayvon Diggs. Maybe not getting Stefon Diggs' younger brother, but can they get one of those guys to bolster their cornerbacks that lost Xavier Rhodes, that lost Trey Waynes, Mackenzie Alexander, so on and so forth. So I love this pick for both teams, or this trade for both teams, Buffalo gets the number one guy. The Vikings get an abundance of picks that they're going to use to continue to bolster their team.